Hello and welcome to the Poet Minor podcast. I'm your host, Poet Minor. Today, my special guest is Dove. Dove is a soul scribe. A soul scribe is someone who writes affirmations that heal, empower, and inspire others. Well, welcome to the show, Dove.
Thank you, Poet, for having me. It is completely my honor.
I'm so glad you're here. So, today's topic is learning lessons through pain. And the reason that I invited you on the show because I wanted you to talk about how you were diagnosed with, I think it was two diseases, right?
Yes, I have lung disease and kidney disease. Yes, both lung and
Right.
kidney disease.
And you had like 48 hours to live. Am I correct?
I was given in 2017, I was given 2 to 48 hours to live, closer to the overnight time. I was not expected to make it overnight.
Okay. Can you tell us how you felt when you got the diagnosis and what was going through your mind? What was your mindset?
I'm not quite sure that I felt very much. I really wasn't present during that time because my condition was so bad. My organs had shut down.
Hmm.
So I was kind of in and out. But I remember just feeling really this sense of calm. It was the strangest thing. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, Dove, what do we have to do now? And my answer was really nothing. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to go deep within my soul and let the process do what the process was going to do.
So while the doctor was telling you your diagnosis, you was just calm and you went where you just went to yourself, inside yourself.
I just went to I went to my soul, I went to myself, and I remember telling him, okay, I'll see you in the morning. For some reason, my soul knew, no, this was not going to be it. So I did. I told the doctor, I'll see you in the morning. He goes, okay, we'll see about that.
Okay. And I remember you telling a story about you seeing yourself standing in the doorway of your hospital room looking at yourself.
I did. I did. I was in that gray area, on that gray line, and they had taken me off everything, all machines, all medication. And I remember being really, really in deep. And I don't remember if I was alone in the room or I wasn't. I think I was. And they always say you see from above, you see this light. I did not see that. I saw myself standing at the door of the hospital room, looking into myself on the bed. So I knew at that point that I was present in the room. I knew I was there. And I knew there was a lesson right in that moment that I had to learn. And the lesson was that I was strong enough to beat this. I was not going anywhere. So with me being present in the room, it was very comforting.
Ah, okay. So it wasn't an out of body experience. You didn't
It
see the light. You just saw yourself talking to yourself, letting you know that you would be okay.
I did. I just had this vision, this flash, maybe 3 to 5 seconds that I was present in the room.
Mhm. Then you also told me about the pain, how you forgave the pain and the lessons that you get from the pain. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I am a big believer in acknowledgement. I will allow myself, if I have pain, I will allow myself to go ahead and I'll acknowledge that pain. I will recognize that pain and actually concentrate right on the source of that pain. If it's in my back, if it's in my kidney, I'll concentrate on that one area. And then I'll thank it for a lesson. Some things are always there to teach us a lesson. And the lesson might be, Dove, slow down for a little while. It
Mhm.
might be sit down. It might be lay down. It might be just be in the moment and recognize that you're in pain. Don't try and just push it away because then it's still going to be there. It's still going to persist no matter what. So what I like to do is acknowledge it and then I forgive it and I release it.
Forgiving the pain does what? If you're forgiving the
For,
pain for your back or your neck or the disease, what does that?
right, forgiving it, I guess forgiving it for being there and going, okay, yeah, you're here, but I forgive you for giving me this discomfort. I forgive you for making me have to go through this process right now of being in pain. And it does help to acknowledge it and then forgive it, and the pain does subside.
Mhm. And are you writing? Are you journaling about the pain or the lessons that you're learning from the pain?
I do. I write and I journal every day. I tend to write in poetry. Journaling to me gets a little bit hectic in my head.
Mhm.
So I always have something beside me because you probably know this as well. An idea will come to you within a split second. And
Uh-huh.
if I don't get to it right then there in that second, it's not going to get
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
So yeah, so it does help me to go ahead and write the stuff down, even if it's in poem form and gets personal and it's not to share with anybody else. I still go through that process.
Mhm. Who was with you when you were in the hospital? What kind of support did you have?
My ex-husband was there, and Reverend Cynthia Alice Anderson was also there with me in the room when I was given the diagnosis of 2 to 4 hours to live. And they were told to go ahead and call my family and plan my memorial.
Wow.
And I was given my last rites as well at that time.
You know, that's not funny because you said, I'll see you tomorrow. So you had
I,
a
I,
fight, and there you were the next day.
I did. I did. I do think at that point I did whisper to the Reverend that I was scared. I think at that point that I was a little bit nervous, but then I had to allow that to go too, to just continue,
Mhm.
my fight. And as I said, it was kind of an unconscious fight. You just do it.
But has that happened to you before where your organs started shutting down on you? Or was that the first time in 2016?
Well, I've been sick since I was in my 20s, very sick actually. So it's been a struggle my whole life. And yeah, the kidney thing and the lung thing, especially the kidney thing, was the most devastating. Once your organs start shutting down, I had my liver, my lungs, and my kidneys shut down. They were just waiting for my heart to shut down.
Wow. Talk a little bit about your faith, because I believe you have to have some sort of faith to go through all of that and to continue to go through that.
Yeah, I think without my faith and these processes that I allow myself to go through, I don't think I would have been here. I think at some point I would have given up at that point. When you have 3 organs shut down, that's devastating to hear. But my faith kicked into gear. My faith kicked into gear. I'm a child of God, therefore I cannot inherit sickness. I use from Myrtle Fillmore. So that over and over and over again just claiming within my faith that I was going to survive.
Now, your faith, did you always have it, or did you sort of learn it from somewhere, a church,
I
or?
did not have faith until I started going to Unity in about 2011.
Mhm.
And then then I found my faith. I found, my strength in God. I know that God works through me, and all is well, with God present in our life.
Mhm. Another thing, when you were diagnosed and you went through the pain and you wrote about the pain, how has your perspective on life changed?
Well, you live every day till the fullest. And I still complain like everybody else does. I still get down. When I have the aches and pangs and I forget to forgive them.
Mhm.
Um, um, but I lost my concentration. I'm
That's
so sorry.
okay. I was going to ask you, you still get down. How do you keep from being depressed? Because that could lead into depression. How do you
Well, sometimes honestly,
diagnose?
yeah, honestly, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't. I get into the depression. And then that's where I go through the process again of acknowledging the depression, thanking it's for its lesson, and forgiving it and releasing it.
So you write the lessons from the depressions, you write the lessons from the pain in your poetry.
That's more of a head process when I go through the forgiveness, when I go through acknowledgement of whatever the situation, the pain or the depression. It's more of a head process. It's more of a process within my soul, kind of like meditation.
Mhm.
I just allow myself to go through this process. The writing is when something comes into my head that I feel as though I have something to work on, something will pop into my head and then I'll go and write it. I don't journal or write all the time. It's more of a process within my soul.
Okay, whatever comes up, then you start the writing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, when we talked earlier, you talked about you had a visualization technique. Can you tell us about your visualization technique? and what it does for you?
Yeah, I will visualize.
Because I think you said you talk to people.
Well, yes, I do. I talk to people. I talk to people. It's a process instead of just keeping it internal, instead of just talking to myself, which we all do, and I love. I love talking to Dove. But it always seems that when I get into a process, it's an external talking to somebody
Mhm.
to get it out from me. It to not to take the attention away from me, but to get it out instead of just going, okay, Dove, this is this, this is that. I talk it out and I visualize talking to somebody.
So you'll just pick somebody that you know, or
It'll probably be like whoever is relevant in my life at that time, my best friend or my ex who I'm still really close to. It's somebody that is in my life at the time, and it just gives me that other way to communicate, I guess. It is that just the other way to communicate instead of just trying to deal with it myself. I like to get things out.
have you gone to therapy? I mean, you're
I
busy.
have, I have, yeah, a
Would
lot of
you?
therapy.
Yeah. Just give me a say. What would you recommend to someone who's probably going through the same process as you? That at that point where their life is shutting down, their organs are shutting down. What advice would you give to them? Because you have a
You
whole.
know, of course, keeping your faith, keeping your strength, whatever you have to do to cope with it. We all have our coping mechanisms, so of course you're going to go into that. I use forgiveness a lot for everything. The 7 steps of forgiveness you could use with anything.
What's
And
I'm sorry. Is that a book, The Seven Steps of Forgiveness? What is that?
there are steps that you could look up. They are called the 7 steps of forgiveness. I don't have the whole list with me right here, but you take them up different levels, like a level. I can't think of the levels in order, but there's a level to where you think of the good times. You think of, okay, when you were healthy, this, and then it goes down to different levels to where you get to level 7 and you're able just to release whatever you need to release.
Mhm. And forgiveness, are you forgiving yourself? Are you forgiving others? Or how?
I'm forgiving myself. I'm forgiving others. I am forgiving situations so I don't hold on to them.
I'm very curious about what the doctor thought. I got to go back. What did the doctor think the next day when you were still alive and still
The next day, he said, "This is absolutely a miracle. Nothing short of a miracle. It was not supposed to happen. I was going to die."
wow.
And at that point, I was told I would never walk or drive again.
What?
Hmm. Yeah.
Did you get up and walk and, leave like a few days
I
later?
did not get up and walk and leave. I had to learn how to do both all over.
How long did that take?
It took, to learn how to walk again, it took a good year, year and a half to
Wow.
learn how to, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And I was told that twice. I was told that in 2014 and 2017. I was told both times I would never walk.
And now today, you obviously walking.
I walk, I drive, yeah,
Yeah.
I do it all. I
That's,
do it all.
yeah. So I introduced you as a soul scribe. Tell me how
Yes.
you got into writing affirmations and helping to heal and other.
Well, I am a big acts of service person, not only as my own personal love language, but as the language I give to people. I am always in acts of service. And I think affirmations are such a beautiful act of service to give to somebody. Just somebody in need, just say something nice to them. Just give them something to hold on to.
Mhm.
We don't see that a lot in our world anymore. People are so quick just to go up and interrupt us and go, yeah, but I do too. And this is where I'll throw in an affirmation. You know, you can do this. You do have the right to love. You do have the right to self-care. You are a child of God who could do anything you want. I'll throw in an affirmation.
So you have an affirmation ministry. Do you travel around to different hospitals or centers?
I do not. I am actually writing a book of affirmations right now, And I do have 365 affirmations written, but I want to go further with that. I want to add to the affirmation, I want to add not so much an explanation, but a little paragraph of encouragement or maybe an experience I had to go along with the affirmation.
Did the affirmation idea, the ministry, come after you were diagnosed, or was already there before you were diagnosed?
After.
After.
After. Most of my soul growth came after.
Okay. And your soul growth, can you explain that to those of us who out there don't know what soul growth is? What is it in the process? Is it a thing you do?
Soul growth is really, you can't do it wrong. It's your own personal journey. Um, I was never in touch with my soul before any of this happened or before I got into the unity faith. Getting in touch with one's soul is really personal. Um, but it does help me go into a place of acknowledging myself not only as a person but as a being. Yeah, so it allows me to do that.
Do you have any affirmations with you that you could give us? Maybe
I
three?
do, I do. Let me see. Off of my head, I have the right to acknowledge and forgive my pain. I have the right to acknowledge and forgive my pain. Yeah,
Like that one. You got
yeah,
another
I
one
do.
for us?
Thank you. Yeah.
You have another
Um,
one for us?
I don't have my book with me, but I have the right to see through illusion. We don't have to see everything, as something that we're going to see as a tragedy. We're allowed to see through that as not a tragedy. We're allowed to go ahead and get the happiness through that. I have the right to see through illusion.
And that's what you did when you was in the bed and you got the diagnosis. You
Mhm.
saw through the illusion. You said,
Mhm.
no, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, I very much so. And he said, okay, we'll see. And I said, and I woke up and my ex-partner was there and I just simply whispered hi. I didn't know the gravity of it when I woke up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a tattoo right there that says hi.
Oh, that's so cool.
Because that's what yeah. He said, you just whispered it. I didn't really know what was going on.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask this. Are you always walking in, I guess, that spiritual path? Excuse me, a spiritual path. Are you always on that path?
Oh, hell no. No, not all the time. I mean, we're human, right? We
Yeah.
do human things. We get in human moods. But
Mhm.
as soon as I could get myself back on track and even forgive myself for getting off track, the better I am.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any last words you'd like to say to our audience? I really would appreciate that.
Everybody just embrace yourself, guys. Just embrace yourself. We have so much going on in the world right now that we forget about ourselves. Give yourself some self-love. Go out to dinner by yourself. Look in the mirror and tell yourself that you love you. It's very, very important to be present with yourself and in touch with your soul.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show, Dub. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Poet. It is my honor to go on this journey with you and everybody. God bless. And remember to kiss your soul.
Like that. I like that. See you next time.
Thank you, Poet.
Okay.